All right, let's talk about monopolies. A monopoly is a market dominated by a single seller. Instead of many buyers and sellers, as is the case with the pure competition, a monopoly only has one seller and any number of buyers. Barriers to entry are what make monopolies possible. When the barriers are so high that there's only one company providing that good or service, it's a monopoly. Monopolies can take advantage of their power and charge high prices. For this reason, the United States has outlawed monopolistic practices in most industries. Now, the government does allow monopolies in certain industries. A natural monopoly is a market that runs most efficiently when one large firm provides all the output. In the local telephone industry, a monopoly developed because it was inefficient for more than one company to build an expensive wire network. This is also obviously before cell phones. Okay. Why does the government usually regulate natural monopolies? To make sure that they're not taking advantage of the consumer. They generally have way more regulations, way more rules, price ceilings, all kinds of stuff. In such cases, the government may give one company the right to dominate a geographic area. In return, that company will agree to let the government control its price. The government can also grant monopoly power by issuing patents or licenses. A patent gives a company an exclusive right to sell a new good or service for a specific period of time. Where do you guys hear about patents most often? That's a fair enough answer, but in what industry? There's always, they run a ton of commercials, and then it usually goes into side effects and they list like 50 side effects for every one of them. Huh? Medicine. The government, the FDA, will give a patent to a medicine, and they get to sell that medicine, just them, that company, for 10 years. That's a monopoly. After 10 years, a company can produce the same drug and sell it under a generic brand. Okay? Why do you think the government gives patents to drug companies? Why do you think? What? No, it's after it's gone through all the testing. Why does the drug company that makes EpiPens say it's okay that the price of an EpiPen has gone from $40 to $500? Why do they say that that's okay? How do they justify that? No, but that's a good guess. They say, look, we have to create new drugs. We try to create new drugs all the time, and it's very expensive. Before a drug comes to market, the drug company has spent anywhere from $10 to $20 million developing it, testing it, making sure it passes all the FDA rules and requirements. So they need to recoup that money. Not every drug that they try to create works, or it has too many side effects. So they lose tens of millions of dollars. They're hoping to hit one, like 1 out of 10. And so they have to charge more money to get those other drugs back. There have been some fabulous drugs created in my lifetime. HIV used to be a death sentence. It's not anymore. Crestor, which I'm on, has significantly reduced heart attacks in people because from cholesterol buildup. I won't even get into the blue pill that men use, right? There have been just some fantastic advances in medicine that's created better lives for people. So the drug company says, if I can't charge this much for the EpiPen, I'm not going to be able to create the next life-saving drug. Okay? That's the argument. A license is a government-issued right to operate a business. Radio license give a station the right to broadcast at a certain frequency. It's hard to start a radio station. Unlike firms in purely competitive markets, monopolists have control over prices. However, The law of demand still means that when a monopolist raises its prices, it will sell fewer goods. So monopolists try to find that price that maximizes its profits. This usually means fewer goods at a higher price than would be sold if it was more competitive. Monopolists also try to maximize profits by using price discrimination. This means that the monopolist charges different groups of customers the same price, different prices for the same product. When I go down and drop off my package at the UPS store and I have to pay to get it shipped to California, UPS isn't charging me the same price. They're charging me a much higher price than they charge Amazon to ship something by Amazon Prime to my house, right? Because they do a much larger volume. So they are able, that's price discrimination. When you if you know you're going to take a trip like 6 months before you take it, that ticket for that flight is pretty inexpensive. But as you get closer to the flight date, the price goes up. They're selling the exact same thing, a seat here and a seat here, right? But they're able to change the price as the time goes for the exact same thing. That's price discrimination. It can only work if the good's difficult to resell and if it's easy to divide customers into groups that will pay different prices. If I've got to get to California for a funeral or something, or to see my sick mom, I'm going to pay almost any price, right? Than I would if I knew I was going to go there and I could plan it all out and buy the ticket 8 months before. It's going to be a lot cheaper. You can look at those questions on your time. All right. Thank you. Stop sharing.